Hey guys, welcome to the MC Anime Podcast. We cover anime, geek culture, Japanese aesthetics, and Asian studies. We are a multi-fandom podcast, and you can expect to hear topics in your favorite hobby or fandom activity potentially. You can find MC Anime on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, please check out mcanimepodcast.com, our website. Furthermore, stay tuned in for another episode.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of MC Anime. MC here, and today we have a special guest with us today, James Buckman. He's the lead singer of Hot Apollo. How you doing today, James?
Pretty well. How's it going on your end?
Pretty good. Hanging in there, doing just interview as normal and calling it a day.
I've got to be honest. I know your thing's called MC Anime.
Yes.
But whenever I read it, I think it's Mick Anime, like you're Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's like I'm this whole sort of surname like Mick Anime.
Oh, okay.
So that's always how it's going to be in my mind now because that's how I first read it.
Yeah.
Before I heard it, which I like too. I think you could go with either, but MC Anime that works for you.
Oh yeah, MC Anime was just the name I kind of did for the blog, kind of carried over. I don't know, it just stuck.
I dig it.
So, welcome to the MC Anime Podcast. This particular episode, we are discussing punk rock and the poetry combo. So,
yeah, I think
with everything, where can they find you on social media, and where can they follow Hot Apollo?
So, honestly, if you search for Hot Apollo anywhere, you will find us. Like, that's our tag on almost everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. For YouTube, you probably want to search for, James Buckman. That's James with a Y. But if you search for Hot Apollo, you'll probably find us anyway. We're on iTunes, Spotify, whatever music service you listen to. Our link tree is just Hot Apollo. So yeah, search for us anywhere under Hot Apollo. You will definitely find us, and
Okay.
you will be better for the experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I guess we jump in. What is Hot Apollo, and how does it revolve around the subject we're talking about?
So Hot Apollo is the sparkliest rock and roll band in the galaxy, and I actually got into music heavily through poetry. Even when I was a kid, writing was something I just took to naturally. Unlike singing, I didn't really develop any sort of natural voice for until I was probably around getting up, maybe even slightly later. And but I knew I had I liked writing poetry before that, so I got into that, and I realized a few things after a while. First, while it is pretty tough to make $1 in the music industry, if you are exceptionally lucky, you can actually get decently paid. But I looked at the sort of poetry corner of things, and even the people who are exceptionally lucky there still need second jobs. So I thought, all right, so I either have between the two, one's going to give me an infinitesimal chance of being a millionaire superstar, and the other's going to give me no chance at all. But there's also probably more relevantly, while I do like writing poetry, there's a charge I get from performing with electric guitar and all that, and I just performing poetry just does not give me that same rush.
Yeah.
It's great in its own way, but it's not quite the same. So I thought, all right, I know I can't. At the time, I thought, all right, I know I can't really sing yet, but I have something to say with my lyrics, and I know I can say it in a captivating way, through the way I perform it on stage. And if I just stick with it, the whole vocal skill will develop over time. So through sheer stubbornness, I did learn to develop my voice to a place that fits with the music I do. But yeah, poetry was the root of that. Poetry is why I'm a singer now.
Okay. And funny enough, I met you on podcastdust.com. You responded to the post. It was really enlightening to see you as a particular guest because you're from Canada, punk rock singer, and the blue hair. Just a lot of things just stuck out, and I tell people about that when I first discovered you and emailed you.
Sorry, what was the question?
Basically, I was just talking about my impression of you from podcast.com and how generally that was very fresh and enlightening.
Yeah, I'm always happy to be sort of shock people's systems like that. I'm happy to like be a point of color in a world where not everything does stick out. I'm happy to be the anomaly that like catches the eye. I don't always notice when it happens, but I'm told that that it does, and I'm good at that. That's encouraging, actually. You know.
Yeah, it's not like the shock factor is like. I mean, I don't know. I guess music really does. Sometimes music has the best shock factor you can do with it. So it all depends on the person doing it and how they do it.
Yeah, I particularly do gravitate towards artists that offer like an entire sensory experience. Like, I mean, I do believe that like the sound of music is the most important part. I think that's pretty obvious and uncontroversial. But like my favorite bands have always been the ones that that put on shows and have aesthetics that play into their music, you know. And I would definitely put Hot Apollo at the top of that list. But I think if you're going to a show, instead of just staying home and listening to a record or an MP3, you're best served by an artist that like can really put on an actual show instead of just playing the songs, however well they may play them. You know, you want the sight to go with the sound, and you want the smell too. If you're very lucky to feel the physical sensation wherever you're, like, or just there's a whole like whirlwind of energy that you can experience through multiple senses at a really good concert, and that's always one of my goals to provide that.
So Cyberpunk and the band, how did the band come together? And how did you guys discover that you wanted to do cyberpunk for the specific genre of music that you want to produce as a band?
I would say I wouldn't like relegate it specifically to cyberpunk. I would say that punk and specific takes on genre fiction have always played quite well together, and cyberpunk is an example of that. I do have some songs that touch on that subject matter, but I do like the whole like sort of science fiction fantasy over in general. So that's always been a realm of art that my lyrics have touched on. And it's funny because like sometimes my own bandmates don't know what I'm writing about. Like they dig it, but they don't like know exactly. It's harder for them to like get in tune with the more fantastic elements. They get there, but it's less like intuitive for them. But people seem to get it overall, and I do like sort of like the sort of freedom. Like, I think that's something that punk and like things like science fiction have in common. The sort of freedom to explore their respective mediums from angles that are slightly more unorthodox.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that is part of the reason Poetry do play very well together.
Oh, okay. So you want the science fiction element with the music to come together into some cyberpunk poetry combo that you can be proud about and also deliver to the audience to the performance, but also have a meaningful words to go with it. And then the music matches the tone, and then you try to find the exact piece to replicate it on stage.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of saying it. Like I generally start with lyrics, and then we usually craft the music around that, and ensure that the feeling the music conveys fits with the tone of the words and the emotions and scenes I'm trying to convey.
Oh, okay.
That's how a lot of our songwriting process goes. Occasionally,
okay.
Occasionally it's different. Like sometimes, like one of the band members will like play something on guitar, and that will like inspire me to like write some lyrics for that. Or occasionally, like someone will bring something to the band, like a tune. I'll think, oh, that fits like perfectly with this like these lyrics I wrote like months ago, or some poem I wrote like years ago. You know, that kind of thing happens too. But it's all like very organic, and I think the various ways our song crafting manifests.
So the process to come up with the music, what is your like inspiration to get into that?
Honestly, as I said, like I always knew I had a sort of lyrical propensity, and I wanted to share that with the universe. And eventually, music seemed like the most natural way to do that. I still want to like eventually publish like my written poetry, but I think that'll be much easier after I've gotten some renown in the music industry. Like if you look at like the books of poetry that sell the best, they're always by people who are famous for doing other things. Like when Bob Dylan releases a book of poetry, it's the highest seller in that category by miles above like the second place author. You know what I mean? Because the second place author is someone no one's ever heard of because he doesn't have a huge career in a more culturally dominant medium, you know?
True.
So I feel as though more people will read my poetry if they hear my music first, just because music reaches more people currently.
Oh, okay. So when you chose music, not only was it became your medium of choice to express how you feel, but it also make you feel it gave empowerment. It kind of gave you the audience and the willpower to keep doing it and be able to keep performing similar songs or even new songs.
So I don't actually need that much encouragement to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically impossible for me to stop. Like the stage is the place where it might be the only place in the world where I don't feel at all out of place. Like it feels like the one aspect of the universe where I am completely natural and native. You know, in all other aspects of life, I have always felt like out of place, foreign, alien, and I'm fine with that. Like I even like it in some ways, but like when I'm like on stage and performing, it feels like what I'm meant for, and I'm always like excited to get back there. You know, I have a show coming up. If anyone's in Toronto, I'm playing Sneaky D's on June 11th, and like I am so excited. So like I think that's in 2 weeks, and I cannot wait. Yeah, it is the place I'm meant for. So yeah, but it is like when I have like a good audience too, and everyone's in it with me, like that is just an even higher level of absolute bliss.
Yeah, and I feel similar. Not necessarily music, but the area that I found mass communications, media, production, all that stuff, that's kind of where I found my niche that I actually really uncomfortable with. Behind the scenes, doing the production notebook and setting up the lights, taking down the stuff, all that stuff is kind of where I feel where I'm at place, where I feel at home, where I can be, doesn't bother me,
I do, yeah, and I love hearing that. Like
Yeah.
it's where it's how you it's your like focal point of connecting with the rest of the masses of sentient life out there, the ones you wouldn't necessarily see in your daily life, just like the sort of humanity at large. Yeah, I like that. Like yeah, that kind of communication. Like I dig that, and yeah, I like how everyone has, well, not everyone, but like people like us, people who are lucky enough to like have a sort of certain purpose like that, can just indulge it, and it's mutually edifying for performer and audience.
Oh, yeah.
That connection. That's really special.
And also like event staff and breakdown crew and all of that is something I enjoy. It's also something that being part of it is also very successful too, because of the simple fact, not only do you have the experience to do it, but you also experience, you see the other people enjoying you around it, how they're experiencing it. So it kind of gives a a double sword kind of thing. You have the dual wielder, but you see both sides, and the dual sides being able to interact gracefully.
Yeah, I love double weapons too, by the way.
So,
like the mental picture that you put in my mind right then is exactly the right one. Yeah, double weapons rule.
So,
you ever seen a Wargrave? Those rock.
Oh yeah, Wargrave's great. Oh gosh. It also begs the question: how did the band form? How did you find the band, or the band find you?
All right, so we've gone through a few roster shifts over the years, but the original point of conception for the band happened a few years ago on April 1st. It happened to be April Fool's Day. So, bit of backstory. I grew up on this like dead end street with a bunch of kids, and this guy Tom, who was like one of my closest friends at the time, went to OCAD for a year, which is the like most dominant like arts college in Toronto. So when he was there, he said, "Hey, there's this guy I go to school with, and I think you guys, I think he'd be like the perfect guitarist for your band. He's like a weird eccentric dude, and then he's a brilliant guitarist. So I'm gonna put you guys in touch." And that was in like autumn, and we kept like making dates to meet. This guy Dave was his name, and he kept like breaking in the last minute, like stuff kept up in his life. And finally, the one date he doesn't break happens to be April Fool's Day, and we write our first song, Tempest Honey, within a half hour of meeting. And since then, I never looked back. It's just like, all right, cool. This is what I'm doing. Like, first song's written, no stopping, no turning back. And yeah, he's not a man anymore. Life took him in other directions. But yeah, if he happens to be listening, I'll give a shout out to David Aaron Cohen, first guitarist of the legendary rock and roll band Hot Apollo.
Gotcha. So that's where the band meet. That's how it came to be. Where did the name come from? Hot Apollo is like a really interesting name that you don't usually hear. So where did that come from?
So this is, I did promise that whenever I had the opportunity, I would tell this story. I made a promise to a person who will become known in a moment. So in high school, I did occasionally play music with people around me. I played drums at the time because no one wanted to let me sing, but they liked my lyrics, so they wanted me in their bands anyway. And initially, this was like with friends, and then they didn't work out because they had no motivation. And then there were two separate occasions on which people at my school came up to me and recited the exact sort of manifesto about music that I would have given to someone I was looking to start down with. They said, yeah, James, like, come on, you've got to start this band with me. We're going to, like, take over the world of rock and roll. It's going to be great. We're going to do the biggest thing out of this country in decades. And then on both occasions, they just lost the drive within, like, a few weeks. But the second guy to do that was a fellow by the name of Hard Needles, who has found his own bliss in life, and just music wasn't that for him, apparently. But anyway, he started to with me, and once we were like talking about band names, he said, listen, here's what I was thinking of, because I know you like mythology, James, and Hot Apollo, which is, he got it from a line in an Allen Ginsberg poem called The Shrouded Stranger. And he was a big fan of like that whole genre of poetry, beach poetry. That was never really the thing that like drew me in. I was a big fan of like the like 19th century romantic movement more, but he was a big fan of the beat contingent, and then I had at least a peripheral interest in that. So like we put that on the sort of backup list. And when David and I started our band, we were initially called The Body Electric after the Walt Whitman poem, and then I discovered there was another band in Toronto called that. So I thought, all right, let's switch it up. And I called up my friend Hard Needles, and I said, hey, are you going to use that band name? And he said, no, because if I ever start another band, I'm going to call it Hard Needles and the Love Darts. Like he did. He was blessed with a wonderfully evocative name from birth. So he said, yeah, just use Hot Apollo, James. But if anyone ever asks, tell them it came from me. So I suppose I didn't have to tell the whole story to uphold the promise, but you know me, I'm quite verbose. So yeah, that's the whole story of my brief tenure in a band with Hard Needles and his origination of the band name we use today, Hot Apollo.
Interesting. So I guess this rebranding of a new name based on an old name that you already had access to, how did that kind of be? Did they missive, or it just like felt natural to change the name afterwards?
I can't imagine still like I Hot Apollo just fits us so well. I can't imagine still being called The Body Electric. And that was luckily before we even played our first show, so we didn't have to like go through like any sort of like huge rebranding process. That was before we had like any big like web presence too. This was like within like the first few weeks of starting the band.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, it fits so well. And I like the way it sounds in my mouth. You know, the assonance of it, Hot Apollo. Like it can be like I think it's a tongue twister to some people, but like I really like it the way it feels in my mouth. So that's what matters at the end of the day, the way it feels in my mouth.
True, and if by Hot Apollo, it kind of slides off. It kind of does pretty well good things. Now, my question for you, is it the aesthetic of Hot Apollo what it could be, or is it the motion and wording of Hot Apollo that you can apply to you as a band?
It's probably a mixture of things. I mean, for one thing, like, even when I was like a very little kid, like mythology was like one of the first things I became obsessed with. Like, I'm pretty sure like my first 3 obsessions in like very early childhood were Star Wars, Medieval Knights, and mythology. Like I think the Greek stuff probably got to me first, closely followed by like Norse and Egyptian stuff. But yeah, so having a name that has like mythical connotations appealed to me, and also just like hotness is a quality that's always felt naturally, despite the fact that like my skin is actually very cold. Like my skin's frost, but my soul is a flame. You know, so that made sense to me. And just like remember like Nietzsche had views on like the dichotomy of art, where like it can sometimes be like very rigid, cold and mechanical, or it can be a frenzied expression of like overwhelming emotion and like fiery passion. And I generally tend towards the latter. So having that temperature in my name, in my band's name, felt right.
True. So, okay. So, when you're on stage, what is it like for other people in the audience to know what kind of feelings drives you?
I really cannot speak to the audience's exact thinking. I tend to be very bad at reading people. Unless people tell me what they're thinking, I probably won't know. But they do seem to dig it. And they seem like they often do get like, there's a lot of like participation, some of a lot of songs where the audience can like sing along. And I've been fortunate to play it like a number of shows where people the people who are want to get up and dance do so, and we have a good time together. Sometimes I bring them up on stage, dance with the band, and it's just like a very like the energy like fills the room. It's from the band, it's from people in the audience. It's from the gestalt of all that feeling together, and it's great. Like it's like our own little like universe of wild, resplendent energy, and I love it.
Oh, okay.
So that's my take on the sort of average Pod Apollo show.
Interesting. Okay.
But also, I'm in like complete like instinct mode at the time, because I'm just like I'm doing my thing on stage, and I'm in like my own like whirlwind of ecstasy. So I'm not like the most self-aware at that point, which is actually a pretty low bar, because I'm not the most self-aware person in general. But yeah, it's definitely at its lowest when I'm on stage. I'm just like I'm in it. I'm like just like raw, spontaneous action.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you basically give the feeling, you perform on the stage, you drive the audience, you connect with them, you see their reaction, it just drives you even more.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's a pretty good summation.
Okay. What is a particular time on stage that is a big highlight so far of Pod Apollo and just performing in general?
One that always sticks out is this time a few years ago when we were asked to play a vegan festival,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not vegan, but the organizer thought I was, so she asked me to play, and I said, "All right, cool. I'll just pretend to be vegan for a day, cool." But it was like during the day, and it was like in some park, so like it's one like usually I'm playing in like bars and clubs like in the middle of the night. So this is like one of the like rare occasions when I was outside with natural light on stage. So it's success me for that reason. That was a cool time.
Oh,
and
okay.
then I remember
What do you remember?
Oh, I obviously remember the first time I played on stage.
Oh, okay.
My first like performance of like my own song was actually with my friend's band. I didn't have my own band yet, but he said, "Hey, I know you have this song, and like just bring your guitarist up, and the rest of the band will follow along." And so we played our first song with my friend's backing band, and that was like, oh, like that. I was like hooked. Like I already knew this is what I wanted to do, but like that first feeling of actually doing it was just like revelatory.
Okay. Ooh. So, what's the moment with the bandmates that you like, and what's the moments that kind of get on your nerves?
Um, I'll start with the negative first. As I said, we've gone through some roster shifts over the years, and while I said that people's lives taking in other directions, it is like somewhat annoying to just have to like teach new people over again because like, we have like dozens of songs, you know, and having to like teach new people, even if like Phil said, is like a bit of a task. It's not like the most draining or arduous, and it serves a good cause. But I it's it'd be nice if like people could just like download information, download the songs, and like play them into their heads as though they were like Jack in the Matrix. That'd be nice, but we're not quite there with technology yet. But yeah, I mean, I love just being in a band with people I get along with. Like we just had a jam at my place a couple of days ago, and afterwards just like hanging out on my roof together and just enjoying the spring evening. And yeah, I really love being in a band with people who get the music and also get along outside of that.
Okay. So the changing in roster, was that a time that it's like transition, or was that like a time to find yourself with the new people?
It hasn't really affected my journey that much. Like I know that I'm in this to the end. But sometimes people's lives take them away from music or towards different avenues, and like that's their freedom. Like music's about freedom, so you don't like want to feel trapped on one path. You want to be sure that what you're doing is being done by you because it's what you want to do. And if people like when people feel that they need to concentrate on other aspects of their lives and leave this behind, like that, I get that. Like I want people who are like to be in Hot Apollo, you've got to be invested. And when you're not feeling that, then you've got to go elsewhere.
True.
So yeah, but me, I've always been like committed to this, so I'm not going.
Well, you're not going anywhere.
What? Yeah.
You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be steadfast, Hot Apollo. You're going to live the legacy that Hard Needles gave for you, and you're just going to keep going with it, right?
Yeah. Eternal, now and forever.
Now, is there like a point that you want to be at, or what's the goal for the future?
I just want to like push my music out to the furthest reaches of the cosmos. I'm not actually the best at planning, but yeah, I want everyone to like get on the Hot Apollo train with me and enjoy the ride.
So you basically want to be like the golden record, the music that was sent into space, just through sound waves and everything else, right?
Yeah, but not just like this dimension. I want to get to like all the realms eventually. I want to be like the trans-dimensional golden disc.
Oh my gosh. So you want your sound waves to break open to the dimension and just let the dimension planes coexist with Hot Apollo at the center.
Yeah, Hot Apollo and the multiverse of music.
Oh my gosh. So with the multiverse theory, let's go back here. How is Hot Apollo going to be the center for that cause?
Well, this is because this is the universe we're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since Hot Apollo's in it, it's obviously the most important universe. So yeah, everything's like bouncing around us, I think.
Has there been a song inspired by this theory?
Huh. Maybe not yet. I'm not sure if I have any songs that are explicitly about multiple dimensions. I definitely have songs that are about like other realms in but it's singular at a time. I don't think I have a song that deals with like multiversal travel. But
okay.
I probably should have one at some point.
Okay. So let's do some improv here.
Oh, you know what? I do have a poem. It's not a song yet. I do have one
okay.
poem that is about fairies who come from another realm to abduct children and thereby keep their bloodline strong. But it'll be a song at some point. But I haven't made it a song of it yet. I think I think the poem might actually be on our website, hotapollo.com, in the poetry section. But yeah, so it's called Highborn Hop. But yeah, so it will be a song eventually.
Oh, okay. This kind of gave me like an idea, improv kind of thing. So how will you approach a basic thing? Hotapollo, the center of the universe, or something like that. How will you go about doing that lyric rhythmic chain?
I'd probably like try to get like a guitar from my head and then go from there.
Would you try like
Hotapollo, center of the universe, bouncing around from earth to earth, something like that?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting how that.
Open the mansion by spitting verse. Come along and prove your worth. There are ways we could go.
Oh yeah, there's definitely different ways to go about it, but I think it's kind of really cool how you can take a single idea, put a couple of verses with it, and then actually tell a story with it.
Yeah, that's like one of the best parts. Definitely agreement there.
And what is that one song that just tells the best story in your mind?
That is so hard to choose. I'm actually working on a new album like right now. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of songs that are jumping to mind, but I want to see the ones that are currently released.
Yeah.
You know what? I think there's so many good ones. I think Vampire Road would probably be the one I'd pick to start with.
Oh.
It's not like it is like sonically different from like a lot of stuff we do. It's darker, but I think it has a pretty good story, and it has a sweet music video to go along with it. That's like on YouTube if you want to check it out. But it's also everywhere else in audio format. But yeah, Vampire Road, and the music video sells it even more. So that if you want like a good story, start with. But again, you can't go wrong with any of them.
True. Alright. So like it kind of hits like a different tone, and it kind of delves into a little bit more of like what the subconscious and stuff like that.
I think it's a very good encapsulation of how it feels to be living a sort of tenuous, unstable existence, but persevere anyway and soar as high as you can.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. So what was the moment that kind of gave music into your life? That kind of like was the big opportunity that kind of gave you more meaning?
I mean, I know when I chose music, but like music has always like been with me, like long before I consciously made any decision about it. You know, it just like I remember even when I was like a little kid, like I'd like jump on things and start like singing just for fun, just like get my energy out there. And when I realized that was something I could actually do vocationally, I knew that was the answer. I used to get in trouble in grade school for jumping on desks and like singing old punk rock songs during class, and now I get paid for doing the same thing. It's wonderful.
But this time it's less disruptive.
Yeah, it's the reason people are there instead of distracting from the reason people are supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I did it in class, like a lot of the kids enjoyed it. Teacher, not so much. That was like, probably the first time I really had trouble with the teacher, like when I started doing that.
Interesting. So like is just open up the floodgates and just let it go wild, huh?
Yeah. Never close those gates.
Oh gosh. So when it comes to music, what is one defining feature that just makes you feel alive?
Conveying my sincerely emotional lyrics while I'm jumping onto the electric guitar. Like that whole confluence of things is just like a focal point of the entire experience for me.
Oh, okay. And do you got any nice fan related stories?
I mean when like the fans like when like I have people who like do turn out to be like very devout, passionate fans, it is very rewarding. I don't think of a particular experience. I think there's a show I played in like April, and there was this like one. I think she was like a tourist from some other place or something, and she happened to be at this bar I was playing at, and when she like got up on stage and like started dancing and singing with us, and when stuff like that happens, when there's like real like coordinate like spontaneous coordination between band and audience member, it's always like a sort of like extra little memorable moment. So stuff like that. I really like it when those walls between band and fan are broken down.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, what does the bandmates think of you as a person? Not the singer, but you as the person outside of the singing role.
As I said, I'm very bad at knowing when people are thinking of me unless they tell me.
What do they tell you?
The fact they're still in the band, and they say I have a lot of energy. That's one of the things I hear most. And they can tell I'm driven to do this, and I think that's part of what like holds us together. The fact that like all of us are like dedicated to doing this, like intensely passionate about music, and we have the energy to put on a good show.
Oh, okay. So what? Let me guess. High spirit, high energy, the huge passion, the combination of you wanting to do it, you know this is your place, and overall keeping the bond to the band what it represents and what a hot Apollo can be.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that sentiment a lot because not truly does someone really find their driven for life scenario. You have found that. And you can continue I see you continuing to do it regardless of what form it takes because you want to be part of that process.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
So there's no hurdles to jump for High Apollo because it's already established. It's part of who you are. What is that moment that's gonna tell you just to put the mic down? What's gonna be that one moment that you think you have to drop it?
Nothing. I'm not gonna drop it. It is in my hand forever.
Mm.
You know, it's like, I mean, trying to take my microphone away from me would be like trying to take away, you know, like the iron rod from Monkey King or like Mjolnir from Thor. You know what I mean? Like these are our tools. They're with us forever.
Well, I mean, there is one thing. Your vocal cords. Do you do vocal exercises to at least protect that sensitive part?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. You know, so my lungs are in very good condition.
Oh, okay.
My whole system is pristine. And I also like keep myself in like good physical shape so that I can keep jumping around on stage like a maniac when I'm 90. You know what I mean? Like look at Mick Jagger, look at Iggy Pop. Those guys haven't slowed down because they keep it tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's like that really drives me. Like I go to the gym like daily because I want to ensure that everything's good working condition for my entire life. Because again, I'm gonna be on stage at least till the day I die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to ensure that the people who are in the audience on my dying day still get a good show.
True. So, what's how about your warm up exercise? Like, how does the band warm up?
We don't. We just go into it.
Oh, okay.
So, cool. Are the levels good? All right, cool. First song, let's go. Fast off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how does practice start? Is that the same concept with the live performance?
I think like with practice, it's like more of a ramp up. Like, for one thing, no one like arrives at exactly the same time. So like, we wait for everyone to get here, start like tuning our guitars, that kind of thing, switching on stuff, like getting comfortable, they warm their fingers up, and then but yeah, then we jump into it. It's like, all right, cool. What are we doing now? First song, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not terribly different, but it's more like relaxed, less directed, at least initially.
You got your own studio where you practice, or where's your practice location?
Oh yeah, we've got a room where I live. Yeah, we've got a big practice space where I live.
Oh, okay. Must be a pretty big room.
Yeah. It's also like my, you know, yeah, it's like my one big room. So we just keep all the stuff there and jam out.
Oh, okay. So typically, the shows that you do and perform, is it like mostly local events, or is it like, across the different provinces of Canada?
Usually we just play in Toronto. That's like, we're currently like, working on like setting up here, building a race here. But at some point in the future, we'll probably do some touring.
Oh, okay.
When the right opportunity presents itself.
Okay. So what is one thing that you want people to find about the story about you and how you came to go to music and their similar passionate fields?
I'd say I want them to take whatever they can from our music and let that inspire them so that their lives take them where they and destiny will it. You know what I mean? I want them to find in their lives what my music has let me find in my life.
Oh, okay.
Or at least help to keep them energized and inspired until they do find that in whatever way they do.
Okay. I feel like, people should also have a passion, explore the passion, build upon it, continue to improve it, master it, even past mastering, make it your life, because that's truly what you find what you love and how you can express it. And the media that you choose and the way that you do it.
Yes, to me, that's what it means to live. I know that it's different for other people, but to me, that's what life's about.
So, would you say that you're a visionary, or you're more than just a visionary?
For those to be the two alternatives,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd say both. Yes, I'm a visionary and more.
Oh, okay.
I would say I'm a veritable god of rock and roll lyricism.
Interesting. So where does that come from?
I would say it just comes from my soul. Like, I was born with this divine art within me, and my duty is to manifest it so that it's around for everyone else.
Okay. Okay. So, what does the manifestation of Hot Apollo and James, what does that look like?
It looks like our music. It looks like our shows. It looks like our awesome album covers.
Mm-hmm.
The newest of which is on its way to you in the next few months.
Oh, okay. So with the albums that you guys create, how do you find the key image to put on the cover?
It differs. Sometimes we'll take some shots of me or the band and have some artists modify them until they fit the spirit of the song. Once for Bare Arms, we just some artist said, "Hey, I'll do a free cover for you guys." He just let me go wherever I want with it, and I said, "All right, cool, that sounds fun." So that's that happened once too. It's just about serving the spirit of the song.
Okay. So when you're making the album, where is the go-to place that you record it, send it off, and get it professionally on disc format or digital format?
Currently we're working with a producer named Scotty Comer, and he handles all of the production side of things, and he's brilliant. I first hooked up with him in the fall because I was involved with this pilot for someone's reality show about the music scene in Toronto, and part of that was recording a song with this producer within a week, and that made us realize we really liked working together. So I've been with him since, and he's the one who's doing our first full-length album. So okay. Scotty Comer, Komer, if anyone's looking for production services in Toronto. That guy rules.
Oh, okay. So how's that like? You have a producer, he does the audio production for you, get through the visuals and sound design. What is that process like for you?
I only know my side of it. I go in, record, but I tell him, we discuss how we want the song to sound from a production standpoint and what he needs to do, and we find something that works. I go in, I record my vocals, and he does all the boring stuff with computers to make it sound like a professionally produced song.
Oh, okay.
I'm willfully uninformed when it comes to the production side of things. I just got the sort of creative side.
Mm-hmm. You got the talent. You're the rising talent that comes in, records it, let the professional do it, and then when you see the masterpiece unfold, you kind of like, oh, cool, I sound great.
Exactly. Yeah. You summed up the process of recording precisely. Love that.
So, I know this is the main difference. The album production and recording, how does that differentiate from the live performances on stage?
That is, I do have to be much more careful. When I'm on stage, I'm always moving.
Mm.
When I'm recording, I have to be very careful to not move, so that it doesn't affect like the way my voice is being picked up by the microphone. So it's much more sensitive, and it requires much more precision. That's where I have to like be very careful, like rein in my natural explosive tendencies far more, because I usually don't do it at all.
Interesting. So you dial it back. You do a little bit less. What is your strategy to do it in a way that's productive for everybody?
Well, I channel all the energy. I just reserve, I restrict all of my energy to my voice.
Oh, okay.
So like my voice is doing all the jumping around while my body is moving still, which is not natural for me, but I force it.
And then when you're out of the recording studio, what do you do?
I just stand there and sing. It's like that part isn't like the most extremely exciting part. But it's just like, it's, you know, it's almost like, I mean, if you've ever like gotten a flash of inspiration for like a poem or a piece of writing, that moment can be very explosive, but at some point you have to like write it down on a piece of paper or like a computer document, and that part is like more procedural, you know?
Okay. So you get one album made. That's your feature album. Now, do you try to sell it, get it shipped, get it into local stores, just distribution of that music?
Yeah, we currently we're as I said, we have a lot of singles right now and one EP, and all of them are just distributed online. For the album, I think we're going to do that. We're going to do that too, but I think we're also looking into getting some limited edition vinyl releases, maybe a few CDs too. But that's like most people listen to music online anyway, so like that's a priority.
Okay. And so what's the success of the online streaming that you guys try to integrate?
We just try to put it out there where everyone can hear it. You know, iTunes, Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to music. Like, we just want to be there for you.
Oh, okay. Did how popular has Hot Apollo became online?
Once I was in EV Games, and some guy with his girlfriend came up to me because he noticed that one of the bands he'd been listening to was based in Toronto, and at the time we only had one single on Spotify.
Yeah.
And the cover was just a picture of my chest with my tattoo, the tattoo that is my own personal symbol and the symbol of the band. And he recognized me just from that tattoo, and he got so excited. He's like, "Oh man, I love that song. Is Laser Days was the name of the song." He said, "Oh man, that song rocks so hard. I knew you live in Toronto too. That's so cool." And like he like got a picture of the three of us together, like him, his girlfriend, and me. So yeah, that was like, I think, one of the first times I've been recognized by someone I like never even been in the same room with. Like sometimes I'll get recognized from people who like see me at shows or whatever. That was the first time I can remember being recognized from like someone who just found me online.
Interesting. Okay. So we kind of talked about the elephant in the room. Describe the music videos that you want to do. That you guys do. Describe the music videos that you guys do. Like, what's the theme, and go from there.
Again, it's the same thing when it comes to making an album cover. It's just you want to do the best thing you can, like capture what the song's supposed to evoke. And honestly, like with the videos we have so far, we're constrained by budgets. We don't have like thousands of dollars to spend on these, but we still turn out some good product. And I think we do some songs well. We're gonna shoot a new one for the lead single from the album in a couple of weeks, and that's gonna be a sort of more of a natural mystical feel.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be our first music video since last August. And it's gonna be a fun time.
And for anyone to like this discussion about Hot Apollo and what they represent, please follow them on their social media, YouTube, Spotify. They have been a great guest, especially James here.
Yeah, and to anyone who's listening, like, reach out anytime. As I said, I love interacting with fans and like discussing like anyone's passions really. Like I'm just I'm like I love like just energetic and passionate communication with anyone who like wants to engage. So yeah, like check out the song, check out the videos, and yeah, check out me. Like I'm up for whatever. And yeah, it's been great talking to you in particular because I can tell you're a man of passion too.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny because even though I'm the founder and host, I like want to explore my special guest's passion in a just roundabout way of conversation and exploring what they find interesting and diving a little bit deeper and see, if it's just to see where it comes from and overall the excitement that they have for the passion that they express.
Yeah, and you're doing a fabulous job of that. Like I'm picking up on the aura you're putting out into this like virtual room. I'm feeling it.
Well, there you go, guys. Before we go, where can they find you on social media, and what is one lasting thing you want them to know?
Yeah, as I said, Hot Apollo everywhere. Just search for that, you'll find us. As I said, our link tree, Hot Apollo, has links to everything. That's linked tr.ee/Hot Apollo. But yeah, I just say if you're lucky enough to find your passion, hold on to it and just keep it alive forever. Don't let that flame die.
Hi guys, do not forget to subscribe to the MC Anime Podcast, where you culture of anime, geek culture, Japanese aesthetics, and Asian studies, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Don't forget to be supporting us on Patreon, be part of the MC Anime tiers, give us featured posts, Patreon messages, polls, anime plus podcast ideas, all that in a nutshell. And thank you for being an active audience. And I enjoy having James with us today and how he has transformed the movement of Hot Apollo and how punk rock and band culture is experienced through and through. Bye, guys. All right.
Yeah, so yeah, let me know what you guys.
This concludes another episode of MC Anime Podcast. MC Anime Podcast is available on podcast directories like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. We also have our website at mcanimepodcast.com. If you want to directly support us, then follow Patreon blog MC Anime. Finally, if you want services for hire, then we're available on Fiverr for audio and video production, graphic design, idea consulting, and blog and article writing.